Today's food for thought. Anti-Federalist number 7. Adoption of the Constitution will lead to civil war. The time in which the Constitution or government of a nation undergoes any particular change is always interesting and critical. Enemies are vigilant, allies are in suspense, friends hesitating between hope and fear, and all men are in eager expectation to see what such a change may produce. But the state of our affairs at present is of such moment as even to arouse the dead. A certain defender of the Constitution has stated that objections to it are more calculated to alarm fears of the people than to answer any valuable end. Was that the case, as it is not, will any man in his sober senses say that the least infringement or appearance of infringement upon our liberty, that liberty which has lately cost so much blood and treasure together with anxious days and sleepless nights, ought not both to rouse our fears and awaken our jealousy? The new Constitution in its present form is calculated to produce despotism, thraldom, and confusion, and if the United States do swallow it, they will find it bolus, that it will create convulsions to their utmost extremities. Were they mine enemies, the worst imprecation I could devise would be, may they adopt it. For tyranny, where it has been chained, as for a few years past, is always more cursed, and sticks its teeth in deeper than before. Were Colonel George Mason's objections obviated, the improvement would be very considerable, though even then not so complete as might be. The Congress is having power without control to borrow money on the credit of the United States. They're having power to appoint their own salaries and they're being paid out of the Treasury of the United States, thereby in some measure rendering them independent of the individual states. They're being judges of the qualification and election of their own members, by which means they can get men to suit any purpose. Together with Colonel Mason's wise and judicious objections, are grievances, the very idea of which is enough to make every honest citizen exclaim in the language of Cato, "O liberty, O my country!" Our present Constitution, with a few additional powers to Congress, seems better calculated to preserve the rights and defend the liberties of our citizens than the one proposed, without proper amendments. Let us therefore, for once, show our judgment and solidarity by continuing it, and prove the opinion to be erroneous that levity and fickleness are not only the foibles of our tempers, but the reigning principles in these states. There are men amongst us of such dissatisfied tempers that place them in heaven they would find something to blame, and so restless and self-sufficient that they must be eternally reforming the state. Part 2 incoming. Act accordingly.